Hey guys, welcome to Peripheral Vision, and today we're taking a look at the Honyu Explorer-I. And I don't know why I said that, but I had fun doing it, so no regrets. So the Honyu Explorer-I is an interesting little controller, not because of what it is, it's fairly generic, it's just an NES arcade stick in the vein of the Jammer, or the Freedom Stick, or the NES Advantage, obviously. But it's interesting because every once in a while, I'll come across a controller that I cannot readily identify. And I've read tons of Wikipedia articles, I've gone through lists of controllers, so most of the time I can find out or figure out what controller it is. And with this one, it took a little bit more effort, but I did figure it out. This is actually not in the Wikipedia article for NES controllers, so if anyone wants to go change that and fix that situation, I am not going to do it because I'm lazy, but I will explain what it is to you. So, to start off, we obviously have the two connectors to the NES system, so this can be used as a player 1 and as a player 2, always a good option. I don't think I've seen any arcade sticks that didn't have that option, so I guess that's pretty standard. Another standard is we've got the turbo functionality. What's different about this turbo functionality is that the turbo isn't a depressible button. You can either press the B or the A, these are just regular buttons, or you can press the two buttons above them, which are the turbo fire versions. So you press this button, it auto fires B, but you can't just set the B to auto fire. Above that, we've got the dials, which can alter the rate of turbo fire. You can go from the absolute smallest to the absolute most, which is, it gets right there. And that's it for the regular buttons and turbo features. The joystick is competent, it's fairly good, nothing really to say here. And then on the bottom, we've got all the regular buttons. Player 1, Player 2 toggle, start, select, slow, and I noticed with the slow button it has an issue with, if you depress it, it'll get stuck. That happens pretty frequently. I don't know if that's an issue with the controller, that like with all these versions of the controllers, or if it's just this one, but it is an issue that I noted. And then the top two buttons, which are kind of interesting because they don't have any function. And I know what you're thinking, oh Eric, you just weren't able to figure out what they did. Nope, according to the manual for this, which I had to dig through forums to figure out, these two were going to have additional features in the future, but they were never assigned. So these are just random pointless buttons. Another pointless thing is, over here, we see the nameplate, but what is this? What is this? It's a battery compartment. Although it doesn't require batteries. The NES, most NES controllers do not require batteries, they just go off the power supply of the system itself, and oh, this is going to be fantastic, trying to get this back in here. Come on. I'm an expert. Right here. Fatality. Also, in this corner of the controller, something else that's interesting about this, and why it was kind of difficult to dig up information about it, is that this controller, this design, has been through a number of names, publishers, and systems. For example, they all look the same. All the controllers that are based off this look like this. All these buttons down the line, this setup, all that, it's all the same. But some of them are made by a company called Technique, and some of them are called PowerMate instead of Explorer-I, except it just says PowerMate. Well, it says Technique, because Technique are the people that made the PowerMate version of this. And also, the other versions can be on other systems. Like, there's a version of this for the Sega Master System, and I believe one for the Sega Genesis, I'm not 100% sure. But there were a ton of different weird iterations. It's like a bunch of different companies took this idea, this plastic molding, and ran with it. And it's kind of a fun fact, not really important, but there it is. And if we can take it on the side real quick, point out, like most arcade sticks, we've got these 4 heavy-duty feet, and this is actually a metal, so it's pretty hefty, which is great. I love when these things have some weight to them. And that's pretty much it. That's all there is to say about the Honyu Explorer-I. And this video ran a little long because it's got a lot of interesting history, but I would say just get an NES Advantage. I'm always going to say get an NES Advantage. That's the one that I prefer, the one that I've had the best success with, so just get that. Plus, this one's kind of expensive. I don't know why. It's sort of rare, but if you're a collector, find it for cheap, I'd pick it up. But otherwise, just go with an Advantage. And as always, later days.